My typical work day is getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I turn the furnace heat up a little bit. The furnace runs continually. It runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because if we shut it off, then the furnace is going to cool down too much to work that day, and it would take 3 to 4 days to heat it back up. 2 hours later, the glass in the furnace is hot enough to work out of, and then we sweep the floors, empty the kilns, and get ready for another work day. In the summer of 1973, I was looking for work. I was in my junior year in high school, and someone said, "Hey, I heard that you could go to the glass factory over in Weston and get a summertime job." And I jumped in my 1963 Volkswagen Beetle and headed over to Weston. I'd never actually driven that far away from home by myself. And they said, "Sure, come back whenever you're out of school." So the summer of '73, I went into the glass factory, sat down, and was fascinated by what I seen. They were blowing glass, crystal glassware that you would use on your table. They were stretching it, they were squishing it into shape, they were blowing it into shape, they were swinging it into shape. And I really fell in love with it. I've always had an attraction to art, and this somehow fulfilled me. So after working the summer of 1973 in the glass factory, I graduated high school and decided that I wanted to go back to the glass factory because I felt like I had potential there. Within a year or two, I seen some of the senior workers making glass paperweights with flowers on the inside, and I said, I have to learn how to do that. I have to find out what their secrets are. I started getting training from the senior glass workers to make glass paperweights. And after I began to learn that, I learned how to make glass flowers and glass ornaments and glass animals. And so eventually I decided that, this would make a neat business. I would demonstrate at local crafts fairs, and Louis Glass would set up a furnace at the Jackson Mill Jubilee, and I was their demonstrator, or one of their demonstrators, and we would show the public how we made glass. And in the meantime, I would be selling glass to the people at the fair. I said, this would make a great business. At that point, I was probably 13 or 14 years into my career at Louis Glass, and I started collecting my equipment and building my studio. And 7 years after the concept of the idea, I actually began to make glass and started my business. Every Christmas I have to figure out, what am I going to make for my children? And I give them a piece of me. And sometimes that's a lamp, and sometimes it's tumblers, or a set of plates, or something to that nature. So yeah, I want them to someday, if they don't break it all first, I want them someday to look in the cabinet when I'm dead and gone and say, yeah, Dad, I get it now.